We need a new tax system, new realignment of all the discretion in the judiciary system, realignment in the hours of operation to expand services to be more palatable with our freedoms and liberties of self determination and pursue of happiness. Because living in an authoritarian state where there is groups of radicals that vote themselves leaders to appropriate funds from the residents of a geological area against the best interest of the residents. And we have a constitutional friction because we're supposed to reestablish a new government. Trying to do that civilly and with the mechanisms that are in place to obstruct everybody from being able to just rampantly, I don't know, but we're at a dead end and we could do better. And we got the one safe trade, transit, insurance, commerce, sales tax, appropriation, accountability, infrastructure, prepaid, dividend bearing, realignment, discretionary systems. There, the realignment is discretionary. Let's focus on the school system. 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock. That is a 12-hour period. Have two shifts and share the burden with two shifts if there is that big a burden, which I can see the second shift being a great place because a lot of cognitive energy at certain times of the day. Okay. When you're reflecting on what you've done that day, like, oh, I could have done that better. Anyhow, and there's another work detail called the dinner shift where we could use the services, especially as single parents. I'm a little bit beyond the threshold of being a newbie at anything, and there needs to be better service. Then we need to have the transportation realigned to where there's a bus route going at least every 2 hours. If one is too expensive, but every 2 hours on rotation at every single intersection of any numbered highway. That should pretty well take care of broadening your duties and making it more palatable for the single parents, which you seem to cultivate so well. All right, we need to adjust the traumatic incident I just went through, which I'm still having a hard time healing from, and put a guardian ad litem in the or a mechanism of defense against any if there's a loss, if the town and the county start trying to prosecute or abduct children using their discretion, there needs to be a federal live entity with the rules and regulations to be sure that there's no overstep and it's not a manufactured crisis like the clinical professional Down syndrome professionals we have in this state of North Carolina seem to want to create. They cultivate a mess and they actually have jobs in the government. And it sucks because they're forced involvement in our lives is not appropriate. The way they have done me and my child as a single parent is redundantly the same thing with each meg. The daycare did the same thing. Hyper got a sound bite of roughhousing. Redundantly badgered the kid about it for about 2 weeks and talked about it about the kid and let the kid hear it and kept that conversation going for 2 or 3 weeks or some shit. I don't know. It was a while. And then called an intake worker. That was the daycare. Bullshit. Then 3 years later, they tried again. In the interim, they tried to blackmail. They tried to frame me for communicating threats. Uh-uh. Wasn't even out of bed. Didn't even all kinds of plausible deniability on that, and they harassed me for 8 months, and it was nothing on my agenda. Nothing, nothing. Where? But with their delusional paranoia, schizophrenia caused and onsetted by 9/11, and their over medicated clinical professional co-workers, all these people were over medicated and traumatized by the reaction of 9/11. And right before 9/11 happened, there's a reason why 9/11 happened. And that was to remove the conversation of how to correct our domestic tranquility because it's really off. When you got people that are driving 5 cars, got 10-car driveways, and the people that are servicing their stature in life had 3 Maypops and a maybe on their vehicle to get them back and forth to work. I got it made. I do. I got it made. I didn't always have it made, but it's not balanced. There's clinical professionals, that's government employees, teachers, administrators, judiciary, that make 4 times the minimum wage of that state. There's a municipality people that make three to almost $100,000. That is $15,000 is full time at minimum wage. Then 100,000 is 7-ish times the salary that they expect a single parent to raise a child on. Well, we don't expect a single parent to raise a child on minimum wage. We'll just put the child up for adoption and then everybody's happy. Well, all we have to do is make allegation, abduct a kid, and tell them they got to improve their situation. They're on housing assistance. Well, that's not exactly stable, is it? No. Yeah, you probably need 2 jobs to pay for housing yourself, but yeah. And then we want you to go to school then because you can do a couple more years of clinical professional bullying before you get your children back. Yeah, we can see if you can get through that and get a job and get a car. Let's see. Yeah, we know you got government housing, but is that really stable? See, they fucking do that to people. They do that to people. Honest to God, I'm not making it up. If I didn't have a home, a car, a job, and some family, oh my God, these people are so despicable. These clinical professional bullies that abduct children using the Department of Social Services, the schools, and a judiciary that gives special privilege to narcs and bullies to go out here and cultivate. Only thing I can figure is a bunch of druggies. So they have a caseload to procure more grant money from the federal government because that's how the federal government gets their money. Now, this thing's popping up stuff on the screen, so I'm going to close it out. Probably got a bug. This will probably never air. But anyhow, the one safe trade, transit, insurance, commerce, sales tax takes away the insurance companies and the third parties that we're forced to do commerce with. We shouldn't be forced out of our homes to do commerce with a third party. What, oh, socialization? I don't know. I didn't go to school a whole lot. I have very little socialization. Guess what? When I went to work, I made up for all the lack of socialization I had. And so far, so good, no problem. Now, what you cultivate has been problems. The clinical professional, government employees, tax system, liability system, and appropriation delegation system is so corrupt and stupid with discretion of a bunch of authoritarian, I don't even know what they're called, but they're nothing, nothing, nothing that you really need other than freedom. And we don't have no freedom. We've never had freedom since I was a kid. They've always come and harassed my parents for parking on the side of the road where the driveway for the place had traditionally been forever. Then they started harassing on this and harassing on that. Tickets every time we fired up dune buggy and crossed the street to get on the dirt road. Harassed me and my friend on a motorcycle for crossing the road, saying, "Well, now you got to push across." And then we're like, "Well, nowadays you can ride your four wheeler up and down every damn dirt road in the county." No insurance or nothing. I guess that was just there to use as a toolbox. Something in their toolbox. But we got to do away with that shit. Anyhow, this is another long-winded video of why we need to change the appropriation tax system because eminent domain is disgusting and it is destroying all the ecosystem that exists by turning it under, turning it under. This world is far from rebounding from the push westward. All these trees, we've never even seen a full grown tree in our lives, and I'm 40. I mean, most of these trees out here in the woods of the Appalachian Mountains are barely, if anything, 10 years older than me, if that. Oh, no, that oak, maybe an oak that they cut down in the 40s. Let's see, 40s to the now, 95 years ago. A few oaks had left here and there. Anyway, long winded video, but my stance is still the same. Uh, there ain't no sense in running for seat representative. There's too many bullshit there. We're not got no representation through that system anymore. Tired of it. Want to see it change because we need a consensus of the residents on civil matters. And the representative system is supposed to be a fallback defensive mechanism, not a delegate. You have to deal with this third party, this third party. No, you're supposed to facilitate a general liability system for the welfare of the country, not force us to do commerce with a third party We pay taxes. Why don't that take care of it? We buy stuff. When we pay taxes on that item, why doesn't that take care of the insurances for the item? Personal responsibility. Well, take their license. Make their license not start the car. That's where we're at, right? Right. One safe trade, transit, insurance, commerce, sales tax, appropriation, accountability, infrastructure, prepaid, dividend bearing system. So you're not getting welfare, you're getting dividend earnings. I mean, there's just so many cool new things we can do. Now we don't have to deal with obstructionist representative system, delegating themselves authoritarian hierarchy for the intellectual technology patenters. It's not even the smartest people that's running this shit. It's the people that were just had enough money and knew about patents that call the shots on this treatment versus the cure. So let's change it up a little bit so we can all have a level playing field, considering the effort is quite unbalanced there as well. And we know who puts in the effort, the ones with the calluses, not the pen.